I recently created an iOS application for family home evening called F.H.E.Z and hope that it's easy to use. If you click on the, if you download it and click on the F.H.E.Z icon, you'll come to this first screen. And the app is divided into three main sections. You can see across the bottom there on the tabs, there's schedules, jobs, people, and then there's some additional options. When you first go into jobs, you can see that there's some default jobs there. Typical things that you would do for family home evening. And these can be added to or removed or edited. If you click on each one, you'll see that there's a default image assigned to that job. Go through these quickly. And like I said, these are the defaults, but you can go in here and add and remove them. Then when you get into the people side, it's empty. And so you've got to go through and you've got to add people from your family. And so I'll show just an example really quick of adding some people. We'll add Dad. So there's a picture of Dad in this case. I'll add Mom. Picture of Mom. So now we've got two people added in here, you can see. And we'll add a few kids while we're at it. And maybe a couple more. In this case, I'm choosing photos that are already on the phone, but these can also be pictures that you take if you choose that option. And we'll add one more. That's a good one. So now, just like jobs, you've got people from your family, and hopefully a good picture that they like. Show you these. So now that you've got default jobs, I haven't edited the images for those yet. Leave them as they are. And I've added the people in a family. Now you can go into a schedule, and you can schedule your first family home evening using this application. So first thing you do is you pick a topic for the family home evening, the subject of the lesson for the evening. In this case, I'll put a sample in here. We'll say it's going to be on prayer as the topic. It'll be Monday, October 27th. And it'll last an hour, you can see, from 7 to 8 p.m. So that's the topic and the date and time. And the last thing you do is you make assignments. And the assignments, the jobs that you see listed here, come from the jobs list that in this case, they're the defaults, but they can be edited. And then you just go through and you make assignments to the people that you've added. So in this case, opening song, we'll give that one to Dad. Opening prayer we'll give to Mom. You can see I'm just scrolling up here when I make the assignment. Scripture we'll give to the next person. Lesson, the person below that, and so forth until we get to the bottom of the list. And we'll give Dad the closing prayer. Now when you're done with all this and you've made these assignments, you click the save button there. And now we've got our first schedule. And if you want to go back in and look at the schedule, when you actually conduct family home evening, you click on this link here. And now we can see on the top that the subject is prayer. That's the topic. And it'll be held on Monday, October 27th from 7 to 8. And as we go through these assignments, we'll see who has what to do. So the opening song is assigned to Dad, opening prayer to Mom. There's a place for scripture, and so forth as we scroll up. Now you'll notice if you look closely, there's also a box that has room for text under each one of these assignments. And how that is used, if I click on Edit, I can come into any one of these and add notes. So let's say on the opening song, still assigned to Dad, And let's say that he wants to sing hymn number 100. And so he can put that in there and save it. And now when you come back, you'll see hymn 100 in the note section. And this also works for any one of these. So for a scripture or for a lesson, if we want to say, put a note on here under the lesson, we can say something like, this is going to be awesome, for example. We'll make sure that's still assigned to Taylor in this case, and we'll save it. Now you can see the text for that. So this is a quick example of how to use the Family Home Evening application. It's available for iOS currently on the App Store. If you search on F.H.E.Z, it'll be there. Soon to be available on Android. This last option is More, which has 3 different links. One is for settings, and there's 3 things you can choose from here on the default day of week. If for some reason you don't have your Family Home Meeting on Mondays, let's say you have them on Sundays, you can change it there. Any one of the weekdays. Same thing with default start time. If you prefer a different start time, you can change it there. And also how long your Family Home Meetings last. The default's an hour, but you can change that to something more or less, whatever works for your family. Where this comes into play is when you come back into schedule, you can see I changed the default duration to 45 minutes. And let's say I change the default date to Sunday. Where these settings come into play is if I come back into schedule and I go to create a new schedule, it'll now default to that day of the week. In this case, it's a Sunday. As you can see, it'll find the next Sunday. And it will help set your defaults so you don't have to change them. I hope this has been good overview of this new application, and another link on here that I hope you use is the feedback link. If you click that, you'll see a email message pop up, and you can go ahead and type in your comments here and hit send. And I'd be happy to hear what you think of the application and what changes you might recommend. This last thing is just an about little description of the application. If you have any questions or comments, please use the feedback link or make a comment on the video here on the YouTube site. Thank you so much.